Hey everybody, John C.
Denise Richards and the lovely Lulu.
Lulu. Welcome back to another All Things Home. This is that video channel where we talk about all things home.
Home, yes.
And all things, you can't talk about all things in a home in a short 10-minute period. That's why these videos will go on for decades.
And ever and ever and ever. You're so
it's a
lucky.
Long time. You are so lucky to be a part of this with us today. So thanks for coming along for the ride. This is going to be this is probably going to be my favorite video we've done so far.
Really? Ever?
Yeah. I think so. I'm trying to think back to all the videos we've ever done, and it's really because today is, we're in March 2nd, and this is Banana Cream Pie Day. Now, I don't know the last time I had a banana cream pie, but I kind of want one.
I do. Just this weekend because I made it. It's my
Really?
very favorite pie.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Well, that does sound interesting. Thanks for bringing me some.
It's delicious.
And it's also Old Stuff Day, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
I got a lot of old stuff at home.
Old stuff? You go home and just talk to it or hang out with it on Old Stuff Day? What do you do for Old Stuff Day?
That's a great question. Appreciate it or chuck it. That would be what I would do on Old Stuff Day.
I'd call that Perch Day.
Today is also, plug Lulu's ears here, today is National Cat Rescue Day. International Cat Rescue Day.
That just seems a little unfair.
It does seem
Why
unfair.
wouldn't it just say
Animal Rescue Day?
Pet day?
I wonder if there's an International Dog Rescue Day. We need to look that up.
I'm sure there's
We will
not.
celebrate
I'm
it.
sure there's not enough of them.
Not enough of them,
There's just not
Lulu.
enough of
That's
them.
right.
Okay.
Speak up. Let your voice be heard. If you didn't catch last week's video, you definitely should go back and watch that. We talked a lot about insurance and why policies are getting canceled pretty much every day here in the state of Florida. So you need to watch that video to know why and also what you can do to help minimize your policy getting canceled.
That's right.
Anything you want to add to that?
Well, like John said, I've got people that are calling me, telling me that their policies are not being renewed because their roof is too old. Ooh. What do? You just got to watch last week's episode.
Good call. Watch last week's episode.
Yeah.
This week's episode, I came across this article, and I think it's just awesome. And that is 10 things to consider when buying a home.
That's a real dandy.
It is a real dandy. Now, really, you probably should consider closer to like 68 to 70 things to consider when buying a home, but this would be it would be a book instead of an article.
The top 10, yeah.
So let's go over the top 10. I'm just going to hit the highlights, and we'll speak to each one. Number one, Do you want a 15 or 30-year mortgage?
I can help them with that.
You can help them with that.
Pros and cons to both.
Pros and cons to both. And that's a great thing to consider. Of course, you'll look at your payments, how much you're going to be paying each month, because usually the 15-year is going to be a higher payment, but less interest.
Correct.
Okay. So number one thing there to consider. Number two, have you checked the crime reports in the zip code?
Ooh, that's a big one.
Did you check yours last time you purchased?
Always. I always do. I do for offenders,
Yeah.
The registered people.
I offend a lot of people, probably not that way, but you should. And I know Angie does that for us every time we've purchased a house. The nice thing about where we live now, we're close to a school, and I guess legally, you're not, if you're an offender of certain types, you're not supposed to live within a certain area, a radius of a school. So that has helped us eliminate that issue in the area that we live.
Yeah, it's an important thing to look at, that's for sure. What else do they have, John?
Well, I'm glad you asked. How far will the commute be for you to get to and from the places that you typically go, whether it's church or work or social activities? How far is that distance?
Isn't that kind of like just a given?
It is, but what's not given is I don't think people know what that distance is for them comfortably. And I'll give you a story for that. When Angie and I moved out to the estates, it was a little bit farther than what was comfortable for us to do on a daily basis. Now, we thought, we'll be fine. We're renting a place there for a year, and it was 28 minutes to get to our church from there, which we go to our church probably at least 3 times a week for different things, activities, helping, serving, and it was just too far.
Yeah.
It was too far. Like, it just took up it was a pain to, want to even leave and go back and forth, and that's not good. You don't want that.
Maybe a potential buyer would want to do the drive, like actually make the drive and see how that feels.
Exactly. And I thought 28 minutes, that'll be fine.
Right,
but
it doesn't
wasn't.
sound like much.
But it is. When you're doing it every time, and then to get to the grocery store is 25 minutes, it's just, for us, it was too far.
I stand corrected. It really isn't a given. Thank you for explaining that.
It isn't a given. It should be. I'm an idiot, though. That's why it wasn't a given for me. Let's move on. Number 4, are there amenities that are close to the area, such as a grocery store, entertainment, restaurants, hospitals.
Heck yeah.
Everybody has different things that are important that they're close by. Hospitals isn't one that I typically think of, like, hey, I got to be close to the hospital. But some people have a lot of doctor's appointments, maybe their health. If they need emergency, maybe they need people there within 5 minutes.
It depends on, I think, the family dynamic, because you think of the area of Burnt Store that connects Cape Coral with Punta Gorda. There's really no amenities out there at all. But prices are lower now than they will be when you do have a Publix and a bank on the corner.
Well said. And they're coming. They will be there because that area is growing really quickly.
So there's your trade-off.
There's your trade-off. Number 5, how are the school systems in the neighborhood? Now, there's a group of people who could care less about the school systems. Retired people, they're probably not too concerned about whether it's an A-rated high school. But somebody with a senior, they want to know.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is definitely, yeah, especially with young children.
You can say that again.
You've got to understand the school system and how it works. And for example, Lee County has school choice, where Charlotte County does not have school choice.
Neither
and
does
it
Collier
makes a
County.
big difference on where your kid lands. So
That's
it's a super important thing to contemplate before you.
That's why it's in the top 10. How much home can you afford? Very important to consider. That's kind of part of number 1 there with the 15 and 30-year mortgage one.
Sure, I hope
how about number 7? Are you looking for a turnkey or fixer-upper? Now, here in Florida, about half the homes that are sold turnkey or fully furnished. Okay, and when I list a home for somebody and I ask them, are you thinking of selling with the furniture? A lot of them are, but then there's that handful that they're like, what do you mean, sell a home furnished? But down here in Florida,
it's pretty common.
It's pretty common. People move a lot of homes. People don't want to move stuff in and out. They've got custom furniture or tables, and it's not going to work in their next location, so they're good with leaving it with the home.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say on that? You're quiet on that one.
No, it is a really good point.
Thank you. Number 8, are the home values in the neighborhood increasing or decreasing? Great thing to think about. Are our home values going to go up? One thing to think of there, I saw an article years ago, and it talked about how if you're near a Starbucks, your home's value is pretty much guaranteed to go up. And I don't think it's just because of the Starbucks itself, but those big companies do a lot of research on neighborhoods.
I was going to ask, they must do some big engineering research report to figure out where to place those Starbucks. So they've already done the hard work for you, I guess.
They've done the hard work, and they have a good...
In theory.
They have a very good system to know that that area is going to increase in value and population as well, too. Number 9, do you have an age limit on the home that you buy? I typically will ask somebody, what age of a home are you comfortable with? Because some people want what they would say a newer home, and a newer home to some people may be a home that's under 20 years of age. So finding out and knowing yourself what age of a home you're going to be comfortable living in is important.
I think, too, when people come down here from up north, if you think of a home that's 20 years old up north versus a home that's 20-year-old down here, it's completely different.
Totally different. Yeah, because up north, I mean, the first home Angie and I bought was 80-something years old, the home. But it wasn't part of the consideration because that's what everybody's home was in the town.
My house was built in 1927.
Wow. Okay, I was going to make an age joke on that one, but I'll stay away from that. Last one here, will there be any equity in the home from day one? And I think that really has to do back to the purchase price itself. Are you able to get a deal on the home or buy it below what the market value actually is? But that's still a good question to consider when you're thinking about buying a home.
Oh, definitely. There are times that, we've got, we're working on a mortgage, we get the appraised value, and it comes in higher than the purchase price.
Anything that you would add to these 10 that maybe they missed?
Yes. I have one thing that comes to mind. So you want to know a little bit about your neighbors, even if it means just kind of look at the neighborhood for a little bit, drive by during the morning, drive by at night, different times of the day. I bought a house one time, thought the neighbors were having a yard sale. And then I thought, well, maybe it's a perpetual yard sale. And then I realized that's just how they live.
Yeah.
It was just stuff everywhere. So I think investigating your neighborhood in terms of the types of neighbors that you have and if they fit in with your way you want to live, I think it's an important thing to look at.
So it's interesting you say that because, again, back to the first house Angie and I ever bought, the story there was when we went to sell that house, feedback from our realtor at that time said the thing that's going to hold a buyer back from making a good offer on your home is your neighbor. And sweet lady, single mom, 2 kids, she had a tough time keeping up on her yard.
Yeah.
So you know what I did? I went out and rented a chainsaw.
And you cleaned it up for her?
Cleaned it up. I cleaned up that backyard because it was just the backyard that was mainly a mess. I cleaned that thing up. I spent a whole Saturday afternoon cutting, trimming. Oh, it was a great day. But she was so blessed by that, which I know she was. And she's probably a little embarrassed that she can't keep up with her yard. But
I've
she was a
been in her
hard-working-
shoes. I can imagine what that would have felt like.
And you know what? Didn't have any complaints about neighbors or an eyesore or anything from any of my buyers. And we got a good offer and sold it within about 2 weeks. So
Beautiful.
it takes a little great point. Anyways, enough said, enough
awesome.
stories. This is
Yeah.
story time with John and Denise. Hey, listen, we always recommend somebody. But before we do that, on one of our previous comments, and you'll want to stick around next week, by the way, I'll give you a teaser, and we don't typically do this, but next week's topic is going to be really good. It's going to be, actually, it'll probably be better than this one. I hate to say that, but it probably will. It's going to be on 2023, things to look at, bust or boom. Denise has got some real good data that she's going to share with us. So make sure you've liked and subscribed to this video so that you can see that when it pops out. But we typically will get into market news a little bit. So I do want to talk about the market just for 20 seconds here if I could. Because we had somebody post on one of our YouTube channels under one of our videos, which is great. I'm so glad for the post. Just that basically we're idiots, which we probably are. I don't know. But I want to tell you what the local news is saying in regards to the data for our market here. And that is more homes are going pending that are coming on the market. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean is going to happen? Our inventory is going to go And if you've ever heard the word supply and demand, that's what we're seeing right now. So that's going on right now in our real estate market here in Southwest Florida. And that's an interesting fact. Now, it's probably not the same for you if you're in different parts of the country. It's different everywhere. Mm-hmm. Some are doing even more hot markets than we are right now, and some are really cold and actually going the other way. So check with your local real estate agent, mortgage professional on that. Let's connect them with somebody today. Who should we connect them with today?
I know of a real estate agent in the Southwest Florida area. Just loves serving sunny Southwest Florida.
Who is he?
Let's see. Could it be John C?
Hey!
Woo!
The reason we put myself and Denise as your local connections this week is because we're talking about 10 things to buy a house, right? We always try to connect it with the topic that we do. So we're a great resource for you guys. Even if you're not local, I had somebody message me actually this morning for a client of theirs that's up in Crystal River. Now, I don't service Crystal River, but Keller Williams has plenty of agents up in that neck of the woods. So even if you're not in Southwest Florida and you need help or advice on buying or selling a home in your area, even if it's not Florida, I can help people get connected with that. How can you help people with mortgages right now?
Well, gosh, a couple of the things on the list of the 10 top things to consider when buying a home have everything to do with affordability, your payment structure, your mortgage structure, and also, you want to work with somebody that's familiar with this area because, again, it is very varied.
It's unique.
We're already coming from a huge housing shortage, and with what you just described, I don't see that piece of it getting much better.
I don't either.
So, yeah, we would love to help guide you through the process.
Love to help you guys. So reach out, call, text, or email us. Our information is below, or just post a nasty comment on our YouTube channel, and I'll respond back to it if you want to connect that way as well, too. Glad to do that. Thanks, everybody, for watching another episode of All Things Home. Hit the like and subscribe button below, and we will see you next week.
Bye.